Hiya! Pusa!
That has twin 2300cc turbocharged rocket motors in it that are linked up, adding over 1,000 horsepower. Now, we took it out to the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah last year, and between the weather and some of the issues, that it was the first time we've even had pavement under that thing. We had a few issues with it. We didn't really get to go any fast with it. However, it should, once everything gets worked out, we're shooting to be doing over 420 miles an hour with it.
Wow.
Jason DeSalvo, the AMA racer, the person you were just talking to, he's the pilot for that thing.
This is the Castrol Rocket, otherwise known as the Castrol Land Speed Assault Vehicle, and it's a full carbon fiber missile-shaped motorcycle that is powered by twin Rocket 3 turbocharged 500 horsepower each motors, and so we're gonna try and go capture the land speed record for motorcycles with this at over 370 miles an hour. Actually, our primary goal is 400 miles an hour with this motorcycle. So, and that's where I sit, right there.
What's your horsepower torque numbers?
1,000 horsepower between the two engines. I'm not sure on the torque, but I think it's right around 500 foot-pounds of torque. So,
but because of the type of vehicle that it is, I would not assume that any part of this involves any kind of extreme, like aggressive acceleration or
no. It's actually, yeah. I mean, the salt that we run on it's like dirt, so everything is. You know, it's still some pretty good acceleration, but over time, you know, the course we run on, it's like a 5-mile run up to the measured mile. So
I'm gonna guess you kind of start kind of like how a plane does.
Yeah,
compare
absolutely.
A plane to a car.
Yeah,
right. They start rolling down, and you're building up and you're building up. But when they take off,
we're like a plane that doesn't take off.
Yeah, you just never.
Hopefully, right?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
Now, before you were talking about how it is to steer this thing, and that was very interesting. How does that work?
I mean, that's one of the things. It's tough to describe. It's like you're constantly catching it, you know? It's like you sort of will push, right, and it'll move, and then you have to catch it this way in order to bring it back, and then you have to catch it this way. And as you go faster and faster, you have to catch it less because it sort of rights itself and has more of a tendency to want to go straight. So the thing is, how you turn, though, is you sort of overcompensate so that you're leaned, and then just let the motorcycle sort of arc through there and carry on.
This is the 2014 Ducati 1199 Superleggera. There is no doubt that this motorcycle is an amazing demonstration of motorcycle technology. So therefore, I'm sure you're going to want to learn some more about this beautiful motorcycle, and to do so, you definitely want to subscribe to this channel, to Carlisle's Picks.
Let me ask you this, because it's like I said before, some of what you said sounded very similar to aircraft, fighter aircraft actually, but there's another issue that comes in with a fighter aircraft, and I wonder if you have the same issue, which is what you're talking about. So let's say you're kind of leaning a little bit to the left, not leaning, but you're steering, you're turning a little bit to the left, you need to get more to the right. The thing is, you're moving very quickly, so you need to correct it quickly, otherwise you're going to be off the track quickly, right? However, unlike a car or normal situation, you can't aggressively, it has to be smooth. So the problem is, how do you quote-unquote quickly correct your course, but yet don't end up in an oversteer situation where, when I say oversteer, I mean you're overcorrecting.
Where you
turning,
too much.
So then you're constantly going left and right and left and right.
That's
technique and skill.
I would say technique, skill, timing.
And
yeah, for sure. Wow. Because if you overcompensate too much, you just fall over. You get to the point where you'll hit the point of no return, and then you lay the bike over, which at speed is not a good thing.
So I mean, it's a little different in an aircraft. Obviously, I can fall over, but what happens is if you turn too quickly, then you're just making matters even worse.
Yeah.
Like you were slightly to the left,
and
now you're way right. So now you got to go way left, and it gives me an escalating matter. It's all over the place, and you just never get your course.
Yeah.
But for you,
with this, you get to a point it's pretty much over, and then you're at the mercy of now your chutes deploy, and you're just hoping that it keeps you straight as you skid down the salt on your side.
I assume this is all carbon fiber.
Yes, it's actually a monocoque design to where the shell that you see here is the chassis. Yeah, this actually is the frame.
Now we know carbon fiber is very durable. I think one of the main issues with carbon fiber, the kind of Achilles heel I'm starting now, is the adhesive that they use to bond the actual fibers together.
Yes.
That would be relevant, but I don't think you can generate that type of heat sliding. So that means to me that you can be sliding at 200, 300, and this thing's not going to wear through a hole or something. It just impacts your problem.
Yeah.
It's a wobble situation, and then you bang.
Even on the impacts, this is actually rated to a higher standard than your than your standard aircraft fuselage. I think up to 30 G. I mean, more than your inhabitant would survive.
Well, for sure, there's a reason why you're using a carbon fiber, which is not cheap.
Yeah.
In the first place. Otherwise, you'd just be using aircraft aluminum.
Well, the other piece too with that is that at 400 miles an hour, when if you go down, if you look at the older style with the aluminum
there you go. See,
wrapped. Well, this wasn't me. This was one of the predecessors, one of the famous streamliners of the day, the Gyronaut. And so they're a tubular frame design with the then the metal skin on the outside. The problem with this is though, when you tip over and that skin starts to peel off and you start to lose body panels, then the tubings dig in and you change shapes when you're going very fast, and that's no good. So the theory behind this is you never change shapes when you hit the side. You always keep this shape, and that allows you to slide down the salt unharmed.
It just occurred to me just a while ago that you're a speed demon.
I love it, yeah.
Because you're racing Daytonas, and then you're in this thing trying to get 400 miles per hour, and it's like, wait a minute.
No, I love it. Anything two wheels, I'm in. Sign me up.
And fast.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. That's really awesome. How did this come to be? Was somebody else? Was this project belonging to someone else, and they got Triumph to get involved and kind of sponsor the effort? Who initiated this whole thing?
This project for me all started, of course, when Triumph asked me to pilot this. But it's really a meeting of the minds between Triumph, Hot Rod Conspiracy, and Carpenter Race Engines.
Castrol Racing, Carpenter Racing, and another individual called Mark Stoller, who was also involved with the design, implementation of it, and the actual getting the engines put together. So Triumph, Castrol are the big two names. We partnered up with Castrol years ago by just using their oil products as our recommended oil. And that was probably back in I want to say 2008 or 9. And then we just developed the relationship further since then. And the concept for this has been in place, ever since this was also a Triumph. There's two Triumph motors in this one too. Back in 1966, it took the world speed record.
Oh, this is from 66?
Yeah. Took the world speed record with 245 miles an hour. And then collectively with this and a few other Triumphs, for 30 years, we held the land speed record in Bonneville.
With projects like this, what is the motivation behind it?
I guess the industry in itself is all about going fast. I mean, there's a lot of intricacies with the motorcycling industry, but that one of the first and one of the biggest is racing and going fast. The salt flats, they've been racing land speed records out there for many, many, many years, back into the 40s and the 50s. Lots of manufacturers get involved, and it's visible to a lot of people who are understanding that this is going on. Manufacturers, get into it because they know it has some visibility to it. And as you get visibility to something that's inherent with motorcycling, you get to put your name and your sponsor's name all over these big vehicles, and it's an advertisement. It's a way to get our brand awareness up so that, hey, Triumph was in it. You can see from this one here, look at that, they're still in it. Holy cow, check it out, they're still in it.
Are you able to take any of the lessons that you learned from the development of these machines and apply it to your motorcycles at all?
I think it's the other way around, more like.
Really?
Yeah, I think that our understanding of the motorcycles and how they work in our engines allowed us to, because one thing that you don't see, most manufacturers won't even let you see, is that the bikes go through a wind tunnel, and in that they use large fans that blow wind over it, and they add smoke to it, so the engineers can see where the rough spots are going to be and change, augment or adapt the unit so that it's more smooth. And they've been doing that for years. So when you get up to 400 miles an hour, that's a very important thing. Make sure that it's aerodynamic. So we took that same technology and used it in order to determine how aerodynamic this piece was. And they're motorcycle engines. I don't think that we've gained anything that we don't have in this already, out of this, other than history. And I think with this particular product, once we get this thing running right, it's going to make a lot of people understand that Triumph Motorcycles is back in the planet.
Nice. Okay. All right, everybody, calm down. There is no conspiracy. It's just a name.
Yeah.
All right, so make sure.
I like that, though.
It is kind of spacey, though. So
totally.
Make sure.
Totally spacey.
So what is this 2013 Suzuki Hayabusa 1300R? Well, it's a lot of things, a little bit complicated of a question. But if I were to compare this motorcycle to cars, these are the cars that come to mind. Motorcycle reviews, information, and education.
This quick shifter is nice, too.
All right here on Carlisle's Picks. Go ahead and click on the subscribe button and join in on the fun.